Yeah, Alabama Empowerment Coalition. This is your man, the Nookster, here with DJ Johnson. Yeah. Every time I look around, everybody killing each other, killing their sisters, killing their brother. For $5, man, them folks will kill their own mother. Sometimes I feel like I just want to go undercover and see what it's like to be on the other side. Swallow my pride when I go outside and just turn the other cheek. No, man, you can't do that. I ain't got nothing to prove. I'm a cool cat, smooth cat, running through the gutter like a mother. Yeah, everything was trash back then. Now everything is good right now. Everything's clean, it ain't hood right now. Trying to get full off some food right now. Not the physical, the spiritual. Yo, when I'm hitting, I hit so hard, I leave bruises. Everybody looking at the news and they clueless. Don't know if it's the white folks, don't know if it's the black folks. Yo, you coming up to me while you attack folk. Why can't we just show love to one another? I'm just going off the dome, man. And I'm a smothered.
Hey, welcome back. It's April the 13th. Welcome back to Alabama Empowerment Flavor of the City. I'm one of your guests. I'm one of your co-hosts, DJ Johnson.
And I'm Shakir Muhammad.
And today we got a guest that's coming on. You probably already see him already, handsome guy right there. And but a few things I want to talk about what's going on. Did you know Alabama just approved uh the license for a business to deliver beer to your house and any other forms of alcohol? I think that is an outstanding idea. And I'm very proud of the Senate this time for making a good decision about something. I think it will cut down on DUIs and car crashes and hits and runs and all that stuff if you can just get it brought to you right at the house. What you think about that, bro?
Well, I disagree with delivery of alcoholic beverages because I'm not a proponent of getting drunk or getting high, so I don't agree with it.
Well, if you're gonna drink, I think your home is the best place to do it. And another thing I want to talk about. There's a Reverend Kilpatrick in Daphne, Alabama. Now, this is a not a mega church, pretty big size church though. All white congregation, and he's a white pastor, of course. He made a comment that said, "Shut your mouth if you have a problem with black people." This is the first time I ever heard uh, uh, a clergyman come out and say something like this to his congregation. And he's absolutely right. He talked about how we have black people have been done over the history of the world, and he basically told them to shut up if they got a problem with it. And as you can see, what happened this week with the shooting up in Minnesota, another one, white officer shoot a young black kid. Was it a mistake? Hell no, it wasn't no mistake. Not after 26 years, 29 years being on the force, it was not a mistake. But that's just my comment on that. And let's go in, introduce our guest.
Okay, today we have Brother Muaath Al-Khattab. He is a uh, supporter and member of the Free Alabama movement, and we are delighted to have our brother on the show today. And we're going to allow him to introduce himself formally and let you know a little something about him.
Peace, brothers. Brother Shakir, DJ, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Again, my name is Muaath Al-Khattab. Been in Montgomery for about 4 years, originally from Indiana. I'm Muslim, um, but DJ invited me on. Just wanted to kind of talk to you all about a rally we had recently, actually last Saturday, April 3rd, um, regarding National Freedom Movement and Free Alabama, which is an abolitionist movement actually, uh, and it's we talk about basically how prisons are actually slavery plantations. Uh, in regards to the 13th Amendment, has the exception clause where slavery was supposedly abolished in 1865, but except if you commit a crime, then it is legal to be a slave in the US, and it's in the Alabama Constitution as well. Article 1, Section 32 says that it mirrors the federal Constitution, because basically it says, slavery is illegal except if you commit a crime, you're duly convicted of a crime, so involuntary servitude. And so I just kind of wanted to bring that to people's attention in regards to the National Freedom Movement and Free Alabama Movement, which is actually a inside-led, inside-based movement, actually. It's led by incarcerated people in Alabama. So just want to put that out there.
Okay. Let me ask you something, because the advertisement of the program that you all were doing on, you said this past weekend, I don't think it was out a lot.
Was that now?
Advertising of it?
Yeah.
Promoting it. You know,
yeah,
so that everybody could have probably been more informed, you know, and could have made a contribution, so to speak.
Yeah, so they actually, it was actually, there were actually simultaneous rallies going on in a couple other cities. And so just the people that I knew, try to circulate it on social media. We actually had one of the founders of a movement out of Texas called Be Frank for Justice. I know she contacted, her name is Savannah Eldridge. She contacted the, I believe, WFSA. They came out, they actually interviewed 3 of us. And I could probably get you guys a clip, because they actually interviewed her, and they actually played it during the rally. They played it after the rally that night, I believe, or maybe the next day, Sunday, I think on the 4th. So, but I pretty much went through the process of getting the permit, because we did the rally at the state capitol off 600 Dexter. And so definitely next time I'll be reaching out. I reached out to some clergy people and some people at the mosque. I gave a couple of announcements at the mosque on Friday, about 2 weeks. But I'll definitely try to make it more publicized, because this is not just going to be a one and done thing. This is going to be an ongoing thing. We did some outreach actually after the rally. We went to the Patterson Court projects and passed out pamphlets, try to educate people. And so again, we don't want this just to be a one event, but kind of just a first step in this ongoing thing, and making people aware of parole reform, and basically that prisons are slavery camps.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you this: that article in this state constitution, I guess, state constitution, does it really say that you can be a slave if you go to jail? Explain that a little more to me.
Yeah, it actually says that. So basically, it just says involuntary servitude. It's saying you don't have a choice to be a servant, which is slavery. So it's just some fancy language, but I'm gonna read it word for word. I'm gonna pull it up here. Hold on 1 second, because like I said, it pretty much mirrors what's in the federal constitution, and actually many states have it in their state constitution, that exception clause. So Article 1, Section 32 in the Alabama Constitution says that no form. Oh, actually, I was wrong. It actually does say slavery. It says that no form of slavery shall exist in this state, and there shall not be any involuntary servitude otherwise than for the punishment of crime, of which the party shall have been duly convicted. So basically, if you were convicted of a crime, then it's legal to be a slave.
Wow.
And when you think about that, okay, so they're saying you can be a slave if you're convicted of a crime. Well, if you think about convict leasing, right, and the whole U.S., the history of the USA, and you think about convict leasing in Alabama, they've got, and I recommend people to go. This came out, several years ago. The documentary on Netflix called 13th. And so convict leasing is still alive and well in the nation and in our state of Alabama.
That's right.
You have inmates, incarcerated people, men and women who are actually, what they do is they pay them like less than $1 an hour or sometimes nothing. And they'll be answering phones, like for call centers. They're making uniforms for like McDonald's. They're making like products. And so these corporations are, they really are leasing convicts because they're making billions of dollars off these people, and these people are not being compensated. Either they're getting like less than $1 an hour or sometimes nothing. And so it really is slavery. I mean, they are leasing convicts.
Yes, sir.
So,
It's slavery and peonage. There's another documentary called Slavery by Another Name, which deals with the convict leasing in the Birmingham area and how Sloss Furnace and those mines were being manufactured and worked by convicts who were leased. So it is a serious situation.
So that's why they say.
I recommend, like Brother Shakir said, I recommend everybody go watch that too. Slavery by Another Name. I mean, it'll really put it in your mind, because they would literally just scoop people up off the streets, kidnap them, snatch them up. The pig laws and the black codes. I mean, and really, going back to what DJ was talking about, where that brother Dante Wright got killed in Minnesota, they stopped them because it was illegal in Minnesota to have a air freshener hanging from your
right.
From your car, right? And so what that reminds me of the pig laws and the black codes, because they can make any old law and call it a crime, and then they can go and take you and lease you out and make you a slave, because like vagrancy laws, if you were unemployed, if you just hang around, even if you looked at a white person the wrong way, any old thing, they can call anything a crime and then put you back into slavery. So, but go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, it sounds like they making it up as they go. That's why they said that prison is really a business to a big business. The more people they got in prison, the more stronger they workforce.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you some news. I think we building a $1 billion max prison now. They working on building
on three.
Max prison.
I'll add to that. With the high incarceration rate of black people, one of the things that we fail to do is get involved. Many of us have family members who are incarcerated or have been incarcerated, and one of the things that hinder our progress collectively is that we fail to get involved. Those who may have been incarcerated, once they're released, they don't get involved, and we don't educate ourselves legally, and so that we can educate those who are coming behind us, because the 13th Amendment justifies killing you when they stop you. The 13th Amendment justifies illegal search and seizure. The 13th Amendment allows all of these violations of your rights to go on if you black. That's just my opinion on that.
No,
but the facts show. But the more, our children, teenagers, and adults need to understand how to deal with the police if they're ever pulled over. We have to have classes that teach us how to deal with the police when we're pulled over, when we're stopped, because they already have, black or white, they already have a premeditated thought on how to conduct their affairs when dealing with us. So we have to know how to save our lives in that stop. You know what I'm saying? How to make it home successful and safe in that stop.
Yeah. And I'd like to interject. I definitely feel that we do need to be educated on when we get stopped and everything. Unfortunately, even if you are, quote unquote, the most upstanding, respectful citizen, that really doesn't make you immune. I
No,
think
I agree.
possibly, maybe, I don't even know, depending, it maybe lessens the chances of them locking you up. But, you know, we know that from many examples, when people, I believe, like, for example, Philando Castile, I believe he had a gun permit and he got killed anyway. And so, and to my knowledge, he wasn't being belligerent or disrespectful, which that is not even an excuse to get killed anyway.
No.
But I'm just saying, unfortunately, it doesn't make you immune to be the most respectful and upstanding citizen either, unfortunately.
Right.
One thing that surprised me when they pulled the LT over the lieutenant the other night up in Virginia, whenever it happened. I think it happened in December. I was really surprised how aggressive they was toward the lieutenant. They see he in the military, they see what he doing, and they just had basically zero respect for it. They didn't respect the uniform. I guess they just went by color.
Yeah, unfortunately. And, you know, I'm sure you all know the history of when the soldiers came back from the war, how they were, you know, many of them were lynched. So unfortunately,
In the uniform.
Yeah.
In the uniform. Ain't that something?
Let me interject right quick, Brother Muaath. If you would like to call in, make a comment or ask a question, you can call in at 334-558-3248, 334-558-3248. We're with our brother Muaath Al-Khattab. He is a member of the Free Alabama Movement, and the other one is?
National Freedom Movement.
National Freedom Movement. And what both movements are geared towards is the fair treatment of brothers who are incarcerated and justice and equality for those who are incarcerated. So we support both movements because we are supporting our brothers and sisters who are behind the fence. If you've been incarcerated or you know someone incarcerated, you can call in and ask, how can you be a part of supporting both groups? If you just want to support, call in and he can give you the information how you can support both groups. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I would encourage people, we've got a One National Freedom Movement at gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with us, we can show you how to get plugged in. You know, we have weekly meetings, and we'll be doing more things. Hopefully, direct outreach with the community as well. But that's One National Freedom Movement at gmail.com.
One National Freedom Movement at
Gmail. The number one, yeah.
The number one at gmail.com.
Yeah.
So what do you all have planned for the future?
So right now we're in the works. We kind of have done a kind of a wrap up or a assessment of all the rallies. Because again, I know Texas had one on the same day on the 3rd. I believe there was at least 3 or 4 other states that were also having rallies. So right now we're just kind of assessing what went well and going forward. And so right now we're just planning on the outreach. Now, so basically the rally was for around parole, reestablishing federal parole and establishing a mandatory parole criteria. Because right now the partisan parole board, it's kind of discretionary. There's not like to get parole, you do this and this and this and this, and then you'll get a hearing and you get parole. It's kind of like you have to go before them and they pretty much decide. And so that's the pathway to freedom. Because again, we really ultimate goal is to get everybody out, because we know that as we just talked about, 13th Amendment, the slavery clause or exception clause keeps you in. So we're trying to, at least for the people who are incarcerated, in the prison slave complex, trying to get them a pathway out. So we'll be introducing a bill here soon in regards to parole. But
can you give us a little a little skeleton view of the bill that you all will be introducing?
Well, I don't have specifics. We're working on it. So what I would say is we actually had a webinar before the rally on it was I want to say I want to get it right. We had it on March 11th and 12th, I believe. Okay. And then we had a workshop on March 13th, I believe. But if you go to Facebook, National Freedom Movement, you can find those webinars, and we have and they talk, because basically we had a research team talking about all the different crime bills also. And so what I recommend is everybody, reach out to us on Facebook and on Twitter, National Freedom Movement on Facebook, and you should be able to find those webinars in regards to the crime bills and also the specific parole initiatives that we're trying to get out there.
Okay. Let me. Can I've got one more thing I want with regards to the parole and the discretionary practices that are being used. I think also you should look at one aspect of the criteria of parole is parole being a privilege. And I think that gives them the latitude to, swing the pendulum any way they want to, and then I think there needs to be something that points to parole being a right if you meet certain criteria. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to it just being a privilege, because a privilege can be given at the behest of anybody or taken. Exactly. But if you meet a certain criteria, then you should be given parole or eligible without any constraints or any anything attached to it. But as long as it's a privilege, then you can give it or not.
Yeah, I agree. It should be a right, because the Alabama Department of Corrections, I think corrections is kind of weird because they don't correct anything. But
I know that's right.
Like you were saying, it should be a right. So if they're saying you were, whatever crime that you committed is what put you in prison, right? Got you incarcerated, then you should be you should have that right to fulfill or rectify and hit, whatever criteria this set, you complete this class, this training, you complete this, whatever many hours of whatever it is. And once you meet that, it should be automatic. Like you said, it shouldn't be at the, what mood the person is in, right, or some kind of arbitrary, some movable target. It should be like you do this, this, and this, and that, and then you get your parole. I agree. It should not be considered a privilege. I mean, because everybody owns their own freedom. Everybody is free. It's given to them. It's a human right. So.
And that go back to that 13th Amendment that we were discussing. That language, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist except that language, except as a punishment you've been duly convicted of, then that language needs to be taken away from that amendment, because again, it gives them the latitude to do whatever they want to do if you are incarcerated or you've been convicted of a felon.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know they're and trying to remember what state recently. So I believe there are several different states that are trying to get it removed from the constitutions. A few of them actually have, but yeah, that's one of the things that Free Alabama movement is also demanding, that be removed, that clause be removed from the Alabama state constitution.
Well, I want to ask you this, brother.
Mm-hmm.
How far has Alabama went down the line to flip it over and change like the other states?
How far is Alabama?
Zero.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, so you all know the history of, like, Alabama has one of the worst prisons in the U.S., right? I mean, they've been sued by the DOJ. And it doesn't seem to make a difference. But yeah, you're right, DJ. I don't see. It's going to be up to the people. It's going to be up to the concerned citizens and the people who, and that's why it's really inside led, because the brothers on the inside, what we do is we try to support whatever decisions and whatever things that they feel is the top priority. And recently it was parole. And so it's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to us, and it's going to be up to the people who are the friends and family and loved ones and the incarcerated people to make the state, improve. Because we already know if we leave it up to them, there's going to build more prisons, right? Got 3 more.
Of course.
Come up. So
I think they built it with the PPP money. They building it with that money. You know how much you know how much that would have did for each city and local communities, but instead they reinvest in prisons. And I can imagine what's going on. They reinvest in building a prison because they got outside companies, I'm just using like McDonald's or whatever, telling them to invest more into that so they can get more free, cheap labor, like you said.
Yeah.
And there's
and
not
it
a
creates a bunch of
politician.
jobs too. While a lot of us, our people, don't have jobs or can't get jobs, then it's creating jobs for all the people who work in the prison or in the prison process. And so it's creating other jobs, and then on top of that, these private companies are making money. So
I think we also, man, in our neighborhoods, because there's a lot of brothers who are throwing rocks at the prison, so to speak, trying to get in. I think we need to also in our communities have think tanks, to sit and bring some, invite the younger men in who may be, taking those risks out in society and explaining to them, what's going on and what you're up against. You know what I'm saying? And giving them legal guidance, because if they're gonna be in the street, you at least need to know what you're doing and know how to deal like that, But we need to bring our young brothers in so that they'll understand what they're up against if they get convicted, if they are sentenced, if they get caught doing a crime. They need to know the full details from courtroom to the prison to the long sentences, and it show them exactly how much time they're going to get for whatever crime that they perpetuate. You know what I'm saying? And that way, that probably can increase their consciousness on things before they do it. And another point I would like to add, when they build prisons in those rural areas, well, that population of that prison, it increases the population of that rural area. So they're able to get more federal funding, as a result of that prison being in their area. So you see a lot of little small towns, they want the prison to come because that's another 1,000 people that they get and a little more federal funding that they receive for their town. So, it's a money game, man, and we keep falling for it, because we've not been informed. So I say all that to say this: those of us who have a scant degree of understanding, we have to organize places in our communities and bring people in and give them the guidance so that they can have at least an understanding, basic understanding of what they're up against.
I agree. And I appreciate you brothers, bring me on, allowing me to talk about this. And if you all could further assist in kind of being a mouthpiece for this, because again, one of the things that we really wanted to accomplish during the rally was the outreach part. It's great to have a rally. We want people to come to kind of bring awareness, but we want to bring the rally to them. We want to bring the education to people. So that's why we drove. We were downtown at the state capitol, and then we went pretty much around we went to the neighborhood that was close to ASU. We went to the Patterson Court housing development down there, and we kind of, went and walked and engaged with the people. And we want to do that a lot more around the different neighborhoods, that neighborhood in particular, and then the different neighborhoods where we know that these prisons, because we want to tell them, like I told brother there, these prisons, as you know, these prisons, they're building them for us. They're building them, you know, with the neighborhoods around there in mind to fill them up. And so, like you said, we've got to go to the people and educate them, let them know what's going on, so we can be smart about it, and we can organize, and whatever means we need to do politically and so on, organizing to at least try to stop it or prevent it, you know, be it bills or whatever, you know, we need to do that.
Yes, sir. So are you the only brother in Montgomery who is pushing this program?
So let me tell you that the founder is actually his name is Banu Hannibal Rassan. He is the founder of the National Freedom Movement. They actually did in 2014. They did a national a prison strike, and it's kind of spread over several different states. But he is actually in Alabama. He's got life without parole in the prison here. He's solitary, and so actually, what happened was, how I even got connected with him was, there's another abolitionist movement called the Slavery Abolition Network, I believe. They have a weekly podcast on a Sunday called Abolition Today, and so they actually had Banu on one program, and so I called in, and at that point he wanted to, you know, further establish something in Montgomery as far as getting the word out and getting people engaged and growing the movement. And so that's kind of how I got connected. So as far as I know, in regards to abolition movement, I mean, I'm really new to it myself, but as far as I know, as far as abolition in Alabama, that, you know, I'm the only one that I know of. I know there's a you know, we had a guy come from Auburn who came to the rally, who was a part of the National Freedom Coalition. He's a guy named Morgan. He's a part of the Alabama Students Against Prisons, and so I know, you know, they have they're against prisons. This, in regards to abolition movement, you know, we're trying to grow it. I'm a new member, even though the National Freedom Movement, Free Alabama, has been around for a while. So that's kind of that on that.
And whatever we can do, we are more than glad to help you. You know, it's finna get hot. You know, a lot of people gonna be out on the weekends in the parks and stuff. You know, we'll be mobile pretty soon. We'll be mobile in a couple of weeks. If you understand what I'm saying, we'll be mobile. And anything we can do for you to be a part of it, just let us know.
Okay, awesome, excellent.
Before we close, dear brother, I want you to give those links, your email information back out, and the name of the organizations, so that those who are listening, and before we close, you have a comment. Would you like, if you like to call in, the number is 334-555-3248. Before we close, you can call in, and if you have a family member that's incarcerated, they may be able to link up and get them some redress. But let's not just sit on the sideline, you know, and not participate and do something. So give us those links again, dear brother.
So what I would say is, you can reach us online, Facebook at the National Freedom Movement. You know, just look us up, or you can email us at National Freedom Movement at gmail.com. Also on Twitter, it's National Free Do, the number 5. So it's at National Free FREEDO 5 on Twitter, or Freedom Alabama Movement on Twitter at Free Ala Movement. So it's at FREEALAMOVEMENT. You could also check out online Free Alabama Movement.wordpress. That's free altogether, Free Alabama Movement.wordpress.com. But I would say if you email us at onenationalfreedommovement@gmail.com all together, then we can get you connected with our weekly meetings and how to get involved for all the different things that we're trying to do in regards to prison abolition and parole reform, and just get the brothers who are locked down out, give them assistance.
Yes, sir.
I know exactly who will be very, very interested in talking to you. I'm gonna kind of get y'all together. I'm gonna get his number and I'm gonna give him a call.
Any closing remarks, dear brother?
I want to, and this is the same thing I said to the reporter. Any people of faith, right? Be you Muslim, Christian, or Jew, or even if you don't necessarily have a religion, even if you are a lover of justice and you are a lover of advocating for the oppressed, I really encourage you, because no one should be a slave. Slavery should not be legal. It never should have, but it's supposedly being abolished in 1865. We really need to make people aware that the Constitution actually kind of solidified it to be legal in the U.S. when they put that clause in there, for a crime. And I want people to think about, legal and illegal does not synonymous with right and wrong.
That's right.
Slavery was legal, right?
That's right.
And then when you think about crime, what I want people to think about is when you think about a crime, the ruling class, right, or those in power define what a crime is, right? So it might not necessarily even be something bad, but if you get, let's say you get a parking ticket, right? It might not be right, but for certain laws, if you get convicted 3 times, then you might be put in prison for decades, right? And so, just like that example with Dante Wright, air freshener being illegal. So if you think about the power structure can make can actually define the crime, and that crime might not actually be something that's heinous. To be, captured by law enforcement and put in prison to be made a slave. I mean, if you are a person who loves justice and a person of faith, and you believe in justice and goodness, then I really encourage you to join us in this, because nobody should be a slave. I mean, it's insane.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
We thank you, dear brother, for your time. We thank you for the powerful insight, and we hope that the movement moves on and that it does change the condition of our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated. We're going to do our part, and we ask everybody to do their part. We have to stand together, and fight injustice on whatever stage that we find it on. So again, we thank you, dear brother, and we look forward to meeting you and doing work with you. You have a blessed Ramadan, and may Allah God bless you, brother, to have a successful Ramadan. Salam alaikum.
Likewise. Ramadan Mubarak. Appreciate it.
Ramadan Kareem.
Appreciate our brothers.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
Peace.
Alabama Empowerment Coalition. This is your man, the Nookster, here with DJ Johnson. Yeah. Every time I look around, everybody killing each other, killing their sisters, killing their brother. For $5, man, them folks will kill their own mother. Sometimes I feel like I just want to go undercover and see what it's like to be on the other side. Swallow my pride when I go outside and just turn the other cheek. No, man, you can't do that. I ain't got nothing to prove. I'm a cool cat, smooth cat, running through the gutter like a mother. Yeah, everything was trash back then. Now everything is good right now. Everything's clean, it ain't hood right now. Trying to get full of some food right now. Not the physical, the spiritual. Yo, when I'm hitting, I hit so hard, I leave bruises. Everybody looking at the news and they clueless. Don't know if it's the white folks, don't know if it's the black folks. Yo, you coming up to me while you attack folk. Why can't we just show love to one another? I'm just going off the dome, man, and I'm smothered.
Peace.